Hey, this is Judah Mantel from SceneForge Studio, and in this video I'm going to go over version 0.6.15. It has some major overhauls to the way the LUT system works from the previous video that I'm super excited to share in this video today. So let's jump right in. I have this scene here that looks really interesting. You can see we have this purple haze around the moon, and I like the way it looks a lot. Now, this was not controlled with the visual settings. I'm using just the default settings that were there previously. But you can see I have some pretty heavy color correction going on to my scene. Now the way this was done is with the new color correction menu. So in shoot mode, previously there was a LUT selection menu over here, a little option. Now that was replaced with an edit color grading button that opens up this new menu. Now because this color correction gets applied to both the virtual cameras and the editor camera, it can be opened from the shoot mode button over here, or also this color palette button on the left in stage mode. Now it's broken up into two main panels. The one on the left is controlling the different tabs as well as some options at the bottom, and then the one on the right are all the controls. So there's different categories for color correction. The first is color lookup, which is basically the existing color or LUT system just moved over here. So I have this cube file selected. But now you can also control the intensity of the LUT on your scene, which is great. And if you don't want to use a cube file and you want to create your own LUT strip using the specified format, it uses a neutral LUT as discussed in the previous video. Now, previously you had to grab this from the documentation website and it was kind of annoying. Now you can simply just click this button and it will create a new one for you. It'll pull it from the server in your project folder. So now you have this neutral LUT that you can do whatever you want with. Edit in Photoshop, duplicate it, use it as a template, whatever you want. Now there's some other options here for different categories. We have color adjustments and channel mixer. And in the future, highlights, shadows, and midtones are also going to be added, as well as gamma correction and things like that. Each of these options can be reset using the little reset button, but you can see we can go through and make different adjustments to our scene and the way it looks using these options here. Now it's worth experimenting with to get a look you like. It's very versatile, you can do a lot with it. To quickly go through the options, in addition to the LUT, we have hue shift, saturation, and contrast. Then in the channel mixer settings, we can adjust the RGB values for each channel, red, green, and blue. Now at the bottom, we have a couple options here. The first is reset all, which essentially does this for each option, exactly as it sounds, and it resets everything. So now we can adjust everything like we could before. Then there's save to file and load from file. This is essentially for creating your own SceneForge color correction presets that can be used throughout different scenes in your project or between projects, or even to share with other people who use SceneForge to get an interesting look that gets shared across projects. So to do that, I'm going to create something really basic, really simply here, just by messing around with some values. I'm not doing anything super crazy or super specific. This is just for an example. So I have this here, which looks pretty strange. And I'm going to create a preset out of this. So I can click Save to File. And I can create a SFCC, or SceneForge Color Correction file, anywhere I want. Or I can overwrite this existing one. And now that file stores information about all of these settings you have here. So even if I click Reset All, I can click Load from File, grab my SFCC file, and it will apply all of those options to our scene. It looks a little bit different just because it was nighttime when I did it before. And that's basically the new color grading menu. It's great, it's a lot of fun to use, and it works really well. And you can do some really interesting things with it. There are a couple of other improvements and tweaks to the overall editor that I'm sure you'll notice. Namely, auto-updating is now blazing fast, assuming your Wi-Fi connection is pretty solid, so it'll pull the latest version directly from the server in a matter of seconds, and I'm really happy with that. And so with that, thank you so much for watching. That is version 0.6.15. I will see you in the next video.